I survived the drive back from Rockport. Barely. Not because of traffic. Not because of bad gas station coffee. Because apparently spending one short, dramatic beach trip at a half-open guesthouse came with side effects no one warned me about. For anyone new here, here was the situation. I had booked what I thought was a quiet summer room at Blue Lantern Guesthouse in Rockport, Massachusetts. Turns out I was not exactly a normal guest. I was the first one. Technically, the accidental test guest. The website had gone live too early, the guesthouse was not fully ready, and somehow I ended up with my name on a blue lantern. A room that felt like it had been waiting for me, and one very serious problem. Leo Hart, the owner's son. The boy with sun-messy blonde hair, sea-tan skin, and the extremely unfair ability to make me forget how breathing worked. By the time I left Rockport, I had kissed him beside my car. By the time I got back to Albany, I had another problem. I missed Leo Hart. Badly. Not in a dramatic way. I did not stare out windows during thunderstorms or whisper his name into the void like I had been abandoned in a tragic period romance. I was normal. Completely normal. Except I checked my phone every 4 minutes. Except I smiled whenever his name lit up the screen. Except my mom once walked past my room, saw me grinning at nothing, and paused in the doorway like she was considering calling a professional. Is your phone telling jokes now? I flipped it face down so fast it nearly bounced off my desk. No. Her eyebrows lifted. So the blonde boy is telling jokes. Ist hier. She smiled into her coffee and walked away like she had just committed emotional arson. The worst part was she was right. Leo texted every morning. Sometimes it was a photo of the ocean. Sometimes it was a picture of the blue lantern on the porch with some stupid caption like, "Still glowing, very dramatic, definitely misses you." Sometimes it was just, "Morning, quiet room boy." And somehow those 4 words were enough to make me forget how oxygen worked. Blue Lantern Guesthouse was doing well. Really well. For days after I left, Leo sent a photo of the front desk covered in room keys, handwritten notes, and 1 half-eaten muffin. Full weekend. Dad almost cried into the pancake batter. I smiled so hard my face hurt. That sounds unsafe for breakfast. A reply came instantly. Guests loved it. One lady took 12 pictures of the porch lanterns. 12. Dad pretended not to notice and then asked me if the lanterns looked welcoming enough. My chest warmed. John deserved that. Leo deserved that. Blue Lantern deserved to be full of people who saw what I had seen the first night. A house that felt like it had been waiting to breathe again. Still, a small, ugly part of me got quiet after that. Because Blue Lantern was not just ours. Not that it had ever been ours. I knew that. I was not insane. Mostly. But I had been the first guest. The wrong booking. The boy with his name on a lantern tag. The one Leo kissed beside a car before I drove away with my heart basically hanging out of my chest. Now there were other guests. Other people laughing at the Wi-Fi password. Other people eating John's pancakes. Other people standing under those blue lanterns, calling the place beautiful. I wanted that for them. I did. I just also wanted to remain special, which was selfish and embarrassing and very on brand for me. That night, Leo video called after dinner. His hair was damp, curling messily over his forehead, and he looked tired in the softest possible way, like he had spent all day carrying towels, smiling at guests, and being unfairly pretty near the ocean. I adjusted my pillow like that would help me survive his face. Busy day. Leo leaned closer to the screen, chin propped on his hand. 3 check-ins, 2 lost tourists, 1 kid who tried to adopt a crab. Did the crab consent? Emotionally, no. I laughed, and Leo's smile changed. Not bigger, softer. I missed that, he murmured. My heart forgot it had a job. What? His eyes stayed on mine through the screen. You laughing? I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. Very impressive. Very romantic. Truly the communication skills of a future college student. Then the doorbell rang downstairs. Once. Twice. Leo blinked. Are you expecting someone? I sat up slowly, already suspicious.
No.
Then a familiar voice shouted from below, loud enough to travel through the floorboards. Baby, look what I brought you. Leo went completely still, and my entire soul left my body. For one terrible second, nobody moved. Not me. Not Leo. Not even my phone, which was deeply inconsiderate because I would have appreciated it bursting into flames and solving the situation for everyone. Leo's face stayed on the screen, but something in his expression shifted. Not big, not dramatic, just enough. His smile, the one that had been soft and tired and mine-looking, disappeared like someone had turned down the light behind it. From downstairs, Miles yelled again, louder this time. Daniel, baby, your favorite traitor has returned bearing gifts. I closed my eyes. There were many ways I had imagined Miles apologizing for canceling our beach trip. None of them included emotionally assassinating me during a video call with my maybe boyfriend. Maybe boyfriend. Boyfriend? My brain did not have time to process that because Leo was already sitting back from the camera, his hand rubbing the back of his neck. Sounds like you've got company.
No, iblurta.
I mean, yes, but not like. My bedroom door flew open. Miles stood there with a paper gift bag in one hand, sunglasses pushed into his hair, and the confident grin of a man who had no idea he had just walked into a crime scene. Baby, look what I brought. He stopped. His eyes landed on my phone, then on my face, then back to the phone where Leo was now looking politely neutral in a way that felt much worse than if he had looked mad. Miles lowered the bag. Oh, I made a strangled sound. Yeah, oh. Leo's mouth curved, but it did not reach his eyes. Miles lifted one hand slowly. Hi, screen person. I wanted to crawl under my bed and start a new life among dust bunnies. Leo glanced away, and his voice went too casual. I should go. Someone just came in downstairs, and Dad probably needs help. My stomach dropped. Leo, wait. No, it's okay. His eyes flicked back to mine for half a second. Talk to your friend. Friend. That word had never sounded so much like a locked door. The call ended. My screen went dark. For a moment, I just stared at my reflection in the black glass. My face looked exactly like someone whose entire romantic future had been hit by a clown car. Miles pointed at the phone with the gift bag. Was that him? I turned my head very slowly. He swallowed. The blonde guy. Miles. His shoulders hunched. In my defense, I did not know you were on a call with hot coastal emotional damage. You called me baby. I call everyone baby. You called me baby while he was watching. Miles winced. Okay. Yeah. Hearing it out loud, that's not my strongest work. I should have been panicking. Actually, I was panicking. But underneath it, beneath the embarrassment and the sudden need to throw Miles out a window, something warm and stupid was unfolding in my chest. Leo had been jealous. Not furious. Not possessive in a scary way. Just hurt. Jealous. Like I mattered enough to misunderstand. Like Rockport had not been some golden little accident that ended when I drove away. Like I was not the only one lying awake at night, staring at my phone, trying to figure out what we were. Miles waved the gift bag weakly. I brought maple candy from Vermont. I stared at him. He lowered it. Too soon. I picked up my phone and started calling Leo back. Miles stepped closer, whispering like we were defusing a bomb. Are you mad? I looked up at him, still holding the ringing phone. You just made my boyfriend jealous. Miles froze. His mouth fell open. Wait. His eyes went huge. Boyfriend. The phone rang 4 times. 4. Which was, scientifically speaking, 3 times too many for someone whose heart had just been shoved into a blender by his best friend's terrible vocabulary. Miles hovered beside my bed, still holding the maple candy like an offering to a very disappointed God. "Should I leave?" he whispered. I glared at him. "You should consider witness protection." Then Leo picked up. His face appeared on screen, a little too composed. His hair was still damp, his shoulders tense, and he had that polite guesthouse smile on. I hated that smile. Not because it was ugly. Leo Hart could probably look beautiful while sneezing into a napkin. I hated it because it was not the smile he used for me. "Hey!" he murmured. My stomach folded in half. "Hey!" Miles leaned into frame before I could say anything mature, which was rude because I had been about to try. "I'm Miles." He lifted the gift bag. "I'm also apparently a homewrecker." I made a sound only dogs could probably understand. "Miles." Leo blinked. Then, despite himself, his mouth twitched. "Progress." I grabbed Miles by the shoulder and dragged him fully into view. "This is Miles, my best friend, also known as the traitor who canceled the beach trip." Miles placed one hand over his chest. "In my defense, my mom cried. She weaponized tears," I added. "She did. It was very effective." Leo's eyes moved between us, and some of the stiffness in his face eased. Miles pointed at himself. "Also, for legal purposes, I call everyone baby. Daniel is not special." "Wow," I muttered. "Thank you for that beautiful clarification." Miles kept going because apparently shame had never visited his body. "I once called his dad baby by accident." Leo's eyebrows lifted. I buried my face in one hand. "Please stop helping." Miles nodded solemnly. "His dad handled it with grace." Daniel screamed. Leo finally laughed. Small. Real. Enough to make my chest loosen. I peeked through my fingers. "So, just to be clear, Miles is not a romantic threat." Miles looked personally offended. "I am many things, but not Daniel's type." Leo's gaze flicked back to me. "And what is Daniel's type?" My brain tripped over a chair. Miles pointed at the screen. "Blonde. Coastal. Emotionally devastating." I shoved him sideways. Leo's face went pink. Mine went hotter. For a second, none of us spoke. Then I cleared my throat because someone had to rescue the room, and apparently that person was me, which felt legally unfair. "You were jealous, weren't you?" Leo looked away immediately. Jackpot. He rubbed the back of his neck, ears turning red. "I was concerned about customer service boundaries." Miles made a noise. "Oh, he's adorable." Leo's eyes narrowed, but his smile betrayed him. "You're the traitor friend?" Proudly rehabilitating. Leo leaned closer to the screen. "Then you should come to Blue Lantern sometime. With Daniel." Miles glanced at me, then back at Leo. "Only when I get a boyfriend." I refused to third wheel two people in love for an entire day. The word love hit the room like someone had opened a window during a storm. Leo went quiet. So did I. Miles slowly backed toward the door. And that's my cue to give the long-distance lovebirds privacy. "Miles." He saluted with the maple candy. "Good luck, baby." The door shut before I could throw a pillow. Leo was still smiling, but softer now. He looked down for a second, then back at me. "So, are you coming back before college?" My heart climbed into my throat. I thought about the blue shell around my wrist, the quiet room, the road back to Rockport. Then I lied badly. "I don't know yet. I still have a lot to get ready." Leo's smile faltered. Only a little, but I saw it. He nodded, trying to make it look easy. "That's okay." Then his voice softened in a way that made something inside me ache. "The quiet room is still yours." I stared at him through the screen and suddenly wanted to be 4 hours away, a lot less than I was. Because Leo had no idea at all, that I was already planning my way back. Leo should not have been allowed to look sad through a phone screen. That felt unfair. There were laws about emotional damage, probably. His face softened after he said the quiet room was still mine, and for a second, neither of us knew what to do with all the distance sitting between us. I traced the blue shell around my wrist with my thumb. "You're really keeping it?" Leo's mouth curved, but not enough. "Of course. That's bad business. Probably. Someone might want that room." His eyes stayed on mine. "Someone already does." My heart made a noise. Not out loud, thankfully. I still had some dignity left. Maybe 3 crumbs. Leo leaned closer to the camera, chin resting on his hand, blonde hair falling into his eyes. "I miss you." There it was. Simple. Soft. Absolutely illegal. I looked down because if I kept staring at him, I was going to do something embarrassing, like promise to run all the way to Rockport using only gay panic and poor cardio. "I miss you too." His smile came back then. Small but real. We talked for a few more minutes. Nothing important. Breakfast. Yes. Miles lurking outside my room like a guilty raccoon. The fact that John had apparently started calling my lantern Daniel's dramatic little light. Then Leo yawned, trying to hide it behind his wrist. My chest warmed. "Go sleep. I'm fine." "You look like you fought a laundry cart and lost." His eyes narrowed. "That cart had wheels. Very dangerous." Leo smiled at me for one more second, the kind of smile that made the room feel less like my room and more like a place I was waiting to leave. "Good night, quiet room boy. Good night, customer service boundaries." His laugh was the last thing I heard before the call ended. The screen went dark. I stared at it. Then I sat up so fast my pillow fell off the bed. "Nope." Miles cracked my door open immediately. Did someone say nope? Or is that my cue to apologize again? Pointed at him. "I'm going back." His eyes widened. "To Rockport." "No, to the emotional crime scene in my heart." "Yes, Rockport." I almost opened the booking page right then. Then I stopped. If I booked a room, Leo or John would see my name before I even got there, and the surprise would die before it had a chance to be embarrassing. Besides, Leo had said the quiet room was still mine. That was not a reservation. That was my heart making irresponsible legal assumptions. Miles stepped inside, grinning like he had personally invented romance. "Oh, this is excellent." "It is financially terrifying." That part became very obvious 5 minutes later when I opened my banking app. My account looked back at me with the quiet confidence of a person who had never supported a spontaneous romantic road trip. Gas, food, 3 days, emergency snacks, maybe a room. Love was beautiful. Love was not currently covering my debit card, which was how I ended up in the kitchen, standing across from my mom like I was applying for a small business loan. She looked up from her tea. "Why do you look like you're about to confess to breaking a window?" "I need help." Her face sharpened immediately. "Are you okay?" "Yes, totally. I rubbed the back of my neck. I think I need one more emotional support dose before college starts." My mom stared at me for way too long. Then her mouth twitched. "Does this emotional support dose have blonde hair?" I died. Right there. In the kitchen. Tragic. Young. Full of potential. From the living room, my dad called. "Miles said the medicine is C-tan too." Betrayal. Everywhere. I grabbed the counter. "I am never telling anyone anything again." Mom sipped her tea, eyes warm over the mug. "How much do you need?" That almost made it worse, because she was teasing me, but she was also saying yes. By the next morning, my suitcase was at the bottom of the stairs. My dad had already left for work. Mom had pancakes on the table, coffee in her hand, and the expression of a woman preparing to send her son into battle. Or worse, back to a blonde boy. Mom had a list. Of course, Mom had a list. Text when you stop for gas. Text when you get there. Do not drive tired. Do not trust gas station sushi. Do not pick up hitchhikers, lonely raccoons, or emotionally suspicious strangers. I stood beside my suitcase with one hand on the handle and the other holding a travel mug she had filled with coffee strong enough to make my ancestors blink.
I'm 18, he reminded her.
Mom adjusted the collar of my shirt like that fact was cute but legally irrelevant. Exactly. That was not the defense I had hoped for. She looked at my wrist, where the blue shell Leo had given me rested against my skin. Her face softened in that quiet mom way that made lying impossible and growing up feel rude. Drive safe, okay? I swallowed. I will. And Daniel? I paused by the door. Her smile turned knowing. Try to breathe when you see him. Too late. I had already forgotten how. I left Albany at 10 in the morning with my suitcase, 3 bottles of water, a playlist I had absolutely not renamed, totally normal drive to see my boyfriend, and enough nervous energy to power a small lighthouse. For the first hour, I felt brave. For the second hour, I felt romantic. By the third hour, I had imagined Leo's reaction 17 different ways and hated all of them for not being emotionally survivable. Maybe he would laugh. Maybe he would run out and hug me. Maybe he would just stand there with that soft, stupid smile and say my name like it belonged somewhere safe. That last one nearly made me miss an exit. The GPS corrected me in her calm little voice. I pointed at the dashboard. Do not judge me. You've never been in love with a guest house owner's son. She continued for 23 miles without comment. Rude but professional. Around early afternoon, the sky started changing. At first, it was just clouds gathering along the horizon, gray and heavy. Then the wind picked up, pushing against the car like the weather had personal objections to my romance arc. I frowned at the windshield.
No.
Absolutely not. We are not doing symbolism today. The first drops hit 10 minutes later. Then more. Then the road turned glossy, the world outside blurring into streaks of gray and green. I slowed down, both hands tight on the wheel, my beautiful surprise suddenly feeling less like a movie scene and more like a driving test designed by a villain. By the time I got close to Rockport, the ocean appeared between the trees. But it was not the ocean I remembered. Last time, it had flashed blue and gold, like the world was flirting with me. This time, it was dark and rough, waves breaking hard under a sky that looked ready to start an argument. Still, my heart lifted, because somewhere past the rain and the wind and my extremely questionable planning skills, Leo was there. Blue Lantern was there. I turned onto the familiar quieter lane, tires hissing over wet pavement. The porch came into view through the storm, white siding blurred by rain, blue lanterns glowing faintly like small stubborn stars. I pulled into the gravel lot. Before I even put the car in park, the front door flew open. Someone in a yellow raincoat ran down the porch steps, hood half falling back, blonde hair plastered wet against his forehead. Leo! My heart did something so violent it should have required a permit. He splashed through the rain, bent near my window, and wiped water from his face. His eyes were focused, worried, professional. He had no idea it was me. We're fully booked, he called over the storm. But you can come inside until the rain slows down. I lowered the window. Rain hit my cheek. I smiled so hard it almost hurt. Actually, I managed. I came for the quiet room. For half a second, Leo just stared at me through the rain. Water ran down the side of his face. His yellow raincoat was already soaked at the shoulders, and one wet piece of blonde hair stuck to his forehead in a way that should not have been legally charming during a weather emergency. Then his eyes changed. Recognition hit him all at once. Daniel! I lifted one hand from the steering wheel. Brilliant. Nearly 4 hours of driving, 1 secret plan, 2 gas station coffees, and that was what my brain produced. Hi. Leo stepped closer to the window like he needed proof I was not some rain hallucination sent by the ocean. Oh my God. His smile broke open, bright even in the storm. "You're really here." My chest forgot how to be normal. I was going for surprise. Leo laughed, breathless and disbelieving. "Best one I've ever had." Then thunder cracked somewhere over the water, because apparently the sky wanted a dramatic supporting role. Leo snapped back into motion. "Come on, get inside before you drown in your own romantic gesture." That feels like a real possibility. He opened my car door before I could reach for it, then grabbed my backpack like it personally belonged to him now. I stepped out into the rain and immediately regretted every life choice that involved cotton clothing. By the time we reached the porch, I was half wet, Leo was completely wet, and my suitcase was being dragged behind us with the heroic suffering of a small wounded animal. Inside, warmth hit me first, then the smell of tea, then John. He came out from behind the front desk with a towel over one shoulder, eyes widening when he saw me. "Well, look at that." His smile softened. "Daniel Foster." I tried to look like someone who had planned this maturely.
Surprise.
John glanced at Leo's face, then back at mine. "I can see that." Leo suddenly became very interested in removing his raincoat. John handed me a towel and then a mug of tea warm enough to make my frozen fingers believe in kindness again. "Get warm first." I wrapped both hands around the mug. "Thank you, sir." "John," he corrected, gentle but firm. That made my throat tighten a little. Then his expression changed. "Not bad, just careful." "Daniel, I'm really sorry." John leaned one hand on the desk. "We're full tonight." I blinked. "Oh." The storm hit fast. A couple came in right before you did. Older folks. Their reservation somewhere else got canceled. And his mouth pulled to one side. "I gave them the quiet room." The quiet room. My quiet room. The disappointment arrived fast, then immediately felt selfish. They were old. It was storming. I had not booked anything. I had simply driven across state lines powered by feelings and terrible planning. "No, that's okay." I forced a smile. "Really, I'll wait until the rain slows down and find a motel." John looked toward the window. Rain hammered the glass like it had heard me and taken offense. "This might last all night." Before I could answer, Leo stepped forward. "He can stay with me." The room went quiet. My tea nearly escaped my hands. Leo's ears went red, but he kept his chin up like he had just made a normal weather-related suggestion and not detonated my nervous system. "With you," I managed. "My room's big enough." John looked between us. Slowly. Too slowly. Then his smile tucked itself into the corner of his mouth. "That's fine with me. Daniel, you don't need to be shy. We already think of you like family." He glanced toward the rain-soaked windows, then back at me. "You wouldn't be a guest on the books tonight. Just someone we trust staying upstairs." Family. Leo's family. Someone they trusted. I swallowed around something warm and dangerous. "Thank you." Leo grabbed my suitcase handle so fast the wheels squeaked. "Great." I looked at him. He froze. "I mean, because the roads are dangerous." John made a sound that was definitely not a laugh and walked toward the kitchen. "I'll start dinner." Leo cleared his throat, still holding my suitcase like if he let go, I might vanish back into the rain. "This way." I followed him up the stairs, wet shoes squeaking, heart doing several illegal things at once. And by the speed Leo carried my bag, I was pretty sure if I changed my mind, he was prepared to hide my car keys. Leo's room was at the end of the hall, which felt dramatic. Not because it was actually dramatic. It was a normal hallway. There were framed beach photos on the wall, a small runner rug, and one slightly crooked blue lantern print that looked like it had lost an argument with a nail. But Leo was carrying my suitcase toward his bedroom. His bedroom. The word alone did things to my nervous system that probably required supervision. He pushed the door open with his shoulder. "Okay, don't judge." That was not promising. I stepped inside and immediately tried to act like I was not absorbing every detail with the intensity of a crime scene investigator. The room was bigger than I expected. Sloped ceiling, one window facing the side of the porch, a desk covered in receipts, room keys, and a half-finished sketch of the guest house. A hoodie hung over the back of a chair. There was a glass jar full of shells on the dresser, a stack of old paperbacks by the bed, and a framed photo of Leo as a kid standing on the beach beside a woman with the same bright smile. His mom. My chest softened before I could stop it. The room smelled like clean laundry, rain, mint gum, and sunscreen. Basically Leo. Basically a personal attack. Leo dropped my suitcase near the wall and rubbed the back of his neck. It's usually cleaner. I looked at the chair, where at least 3 shirts appeared to be forming their own government. I believe you emotionally. His laugh came out quick and relieved. That means no. That means I'm choosing kindness. He crossed the room and grabbed the hoodie off the chair, then immediately froze like he had just realized I had seen the hoodie exist. I pretended not to notice. I noticed everything. Because apparently being in Leo's room turned me into a very respectful detective with terrible blood pressure. He pulled open a narrow closet. I can get extra blankets. There's a cot somewhere. A cot? For me? I blinked. Absolutely not. Leo looked over his shoulder. You're the guest. I am also not a monster. It's fine. I've slept on worse. That is not the strong argument you think it is. He found the cot folded behind a box and dragged it out. It opened halfway, groaned like an elderly pirate ship, then refused to go any farther. We both stared at it. Leo tried again. The cot answered with a metallic sound that suggested violence. Pointed at it. That thing has unresolved anger. Leo pressed his lips together, trying not to laugh. It's just old. It just threatened you. I can sleep on the floor.
No.
Daniel.
No.
The floor is cold. The storm is actively auditioning for a disaster movie. And I did not drive nearly 4 hours to watch my boyfriend get murdered by bad sleeping arrangements. The word boyfriend landed between us. Leo went still. So did I. My face went hot so fast I was surprised the rain outside didn't turn to steam. Leo's eyes softened. Boyfriend. I suddenly became extremely interested in the carpet. I mean, unless that's too much. He stepped closer, slowly, like he did not want to scare the word away. It's not too much. The storm hit the window hard enough to make us both look over. Then the lights flickered. Once, twice. The room went dark. For one breath, neither of us moved. Only the blue lanterns outside glowed through the rain, washing Leo's face in soft ocean-colored light. His voice came quiet beside me. Guess the cot really was angry. I laughed because I had to. Because if I didn't, I might do something reckless, like reach for his hand. Then Leo's fingers brushed mine in the dark. And this time I didn't pull away. The lights did not come back on, which felt rude. Very theatrical. Also extremely unhelpful, considering I was standing in Leo Hart's bedroom, holding his hand in the dark, while rain threw itself against the window like the sky had unresolved feelings. Leo's fingers stayed around mine. Not tight, just there. Warm and careful and very bad for my ability to think like a person with a future. We should probably sit before one of us trips over the angry cot, he murmured. Good call. I would hate to be defeated by furniture twice in one night. Leo laughed softly and guided me toward the floor beside the bed. We sat with our backs against the mattress, knees bent, shoulders almost touching. The blue glow from the porch lanterns spilled through the window, turning everything quiet and unreal. Outside, thunder rolled over the water. Inside, Leo's thumb brushed once over my knuckles. I stared at our hands like they were doing something complicated. They were not. They were just holding on. So, I managed because apparently I enjoyed walking directly into danger. Customer service boundaries? Leo groaned and tipped his head back against the bed. Please don't. You were very professional. I was dying. That made me look at him. His face was turned toward the window, but even in the dim blue light, I could see the red on his ears. I wasn't mad, Leo added, quieter now. I know. I was a little mad. My mouth twitched. At Miles. At the word baby. I should not have smiled. I absolutely smiled. Leo caught it and narrowed his eyes. Don't look so pleased. I'm not pleased. You look extremely pleased.
I'm emotionally neutral.
You drove through a storm. That was unrelated weather-based romance efficiency. Leo huffed a laugh, but it faded quickly. His hand shifted in mine. He looked down at our fingers. For a second, I realized I didn't know what I was allowed to be jealous about. My chest tightened. There it was. Not dramatic. Not big. Just honest enough to make the room feel smaller. You're allowed, I murmured. Leo glanced at me. I swallowed. Not in a scary way. Not like ownership or anything. But if something hurts, you can tell me. His face softened, but there was still worry behind it. You're starting college, Daniel. You're going to meet a million people. New friends. New life. New everything. And terrible cafeteria food. His smile flickered. I'm serious. So am I. I've seen orientation meal photos. It's bleak. Leo bumped my knee with his. Daniel. I turned toward him fully, our shoulders touching now. You're not just summer magic to me. The words came out softer than I expected. Leo went still. I kept going before fear could tackle me. And Salem State is only about 40 minutes from here. I'm not disappearing into another universe. I might disappear into laundry piles and textbook debt, but not from you. His eyes searched mine in the dark. I tried to smile, but my throat felt too full. You're the person I drove through a storm for. Leo's breath caught. Then his mouth curved, shy and bright and almost painful to look at. That was reckless. Yeah. I squeezed his hand. But emotionally efficient. He laughed under his breath and looked down again, smiling at our joined hands like he was trying not to look too happy. Rain hit the glass harder. The wind pressed against the house. But inside Leo's room, everything felt strangely calm. Not safe exactly. Safe would have been easier. This was warmer than safe. Closer. The room seemed to shrink around us until there was only the rain, Leo's breathing beside me, and my own heartbeat acting like it had no adult supervision. I tried to focus on the storm. Very mature. Very responsible. Completely useless. Because Leo smelled like rain and mint gum and the clean cotton of the shirt he had changed into. Because his thumb was still moving over my knuckles. Because he was close enough that, when he breathed out, I felt it near my cheek. You're thinking too loudly, he murmured. I looked at him. That is unfortunately one of my main talents. His smile appeared, small and nervous. Then it faded into something softer. His eyes dropped to my mouth. Only for a second. Barely anything. Still, my entire body noticed and submitted a written report. Leo looked away first, jaw tightening like he was physically holding himself back. That was somehow worse. Better. Dangerous. Leo. His throat moved. I don't want to rush you. The words were quiet. Careful. So careful they almost hurt. I turned my hand in his and held on properly. You're not. His eyes found mine again. The blue lantern light touched his face, catching on his damp hair, his cheekbone, the soft uncertainty in his mouth. I mean it, he breathed. I missed you. A lot. And you're here in my room during a storm, looking at me like that, and I'm trying very hard to be a good person. My heart almost folded in half. I should have said something smooth. I should have said something brave. Instead, I whispered, How am I looking at you? Leo's laugh came out shaky. Like you have no idea what you're doing to me. The room went very quiet. Outside, thunder rolled low over the water. Inside, Leo lifted his free hand slowly, giving me every chance to move away. I did not. His fingers touched my cheek, just the side of my face, warm, gentle, enough to make my breath catch. Then he leaned in and kissed my forehead. Not my mouth, my forehead, like he wanted me, like he was choosing patience anyway. That almost ruined me more than a real kiss would have. I closed my eyes. His forehead rested lightly against mine. Then stay close tonight, he whispered. My pulse stumbled. Not because of the storm. I forgot how to blink. His thumb moved over my knuckles again. Because I missed you. My first day plan with Leo had changed. No hidden beach. No sunset walk. No carefully timed romantic moment under perfect summer light. Just one storm, one room, and Leo sitting close enough that every quiet thing inside me started getting loud again. Tonight, I wasn't going anywhere. Tonight, I was staying in his room. And somehow, the way he held himself back made me want him even more. Sharing a bed sounded simple in theory. 2 people. 1 mattress. Several layers of blankets. A reasonable, mature solution to a storm, a broken cot, and the fact that neither of us wanted the other person sleeping on a floor cold enough to qualify as punishment. In practice, it was an emotional obstacle course designed by someone who hated me personally. Leo found extra pillows in the closet while I changed into dry clothes from my suitcase. He turned his back without making it weird, which somehow made it worse because kindness from Leo had always been one of my top 5 causes of death. When I climbed under the blanket, I tried to do it normally. I failed. There is no normal way to get into your boyfriend's bed for the first time while pretending your soul is not trying to exit through your ears. Leo sat on the edge of the mattress, watching the rain blur the window. I can still sleep on the floor. I grabbed his wrist before he could stand. Very smooth, very casual. Absolutely not the behavior of someone mentally combusting.
No.
His eyes dropped to my hand around his wrist. I loosened my grip immediately. I mean, no, because that would be stupid. The floor is cold. The cot is haunted. And we already talked about this. Leo's mouth twitched. The cot is haunted? It threatened us both. He laughed softly, but there was still something careful in his face. I knew that look. It was the same look he'd had at the beach before our almost kiss. Like he wanted something but was afraid wanting it too much might break the good part. So I took a breath. A real one. We're just sleeping, I murmured. No pressure.
No rushing. No weird expectations.
Leo's shoulders eased. His gaze found mine, warm in the blue lantern light. Just sleeping. Exactly. A beat passed. Then I added, with maybe some hand-holding if medically necessary. Leo's smile came back all at once. Medically necessary? My condition is serious. What condition? I looked at him. He looked at me. The rain filled the room between us. Missing you, I admitted. The words made him go still. Then he slipped under the blanket beside me, slow and careful, leaving a polite distance between us like 2 Victorian ghosts sharing a hotel room. The distance lasted approximately 12 seconds. A gust of wind rattled the window. I shifted closer by accident. Leo shifted closer on purpose. Our hands found each other under the blanket. First, that was all. Fingers laced, shoulders almost touching, breathing too loud. Then another roll of thunder shook the glass, and Leo's arm moved around me before either of us had time to pretend we were calm. He froze immediately.
Sorry.
I looked down at his arm across my waist, then back at him. My voice came out smaller than planned. Don't be. Leo's eyes searched mine, careful and dark in the blue light. Slowly, like he was asking without words, he pulled me closer. I went, because apparently my body had been waiting for permission from someone smarter than me. My shoulder settled against his chest. His heartbeat was right there, fast under my ear, which was deeply comforting because at least one of us was also failing to be normal. "You're nervous," I whispered. Leo's laugh brushed my hair. "You're literally shaking. That's different." "How?" "It's more charming when I do it." His arm tightened barely. Not possessive, just present. Warm enough to make the storm outside feel farther away. For a while, neither of us spoke. I listened to the rain, to Leo breathing, to the small shift of his fingers against my sleeve. Every part of me was awake, but not scared. That was the strange thing. I wanted him. I wanted him so badly it made my chest ache. But I also trusted him. Those two things sat together in the dark, hand in hand. Leo bent his head slightly. His lips brushed my temple. Once, then my hair, then the side of my forehead. Tiny kisses, careful kisses, the kind that did not ask for more but made more feel possible. I tilted my face up before I could talk myself out of it. Leo went still. Our mouths were close enough that the next breath belonged to both of us. "Daniel," he whispered. Not a warning. Not exactly a question. Something softer. I answered by touching his jaw. His eyes closed for half a second. Then he kissed me. Slow. Gentle.
No ruse.
No performance. Just his mouth warm against mine while the storm kept trying to be the loudest thing in the room and failed. When we separated, he stayed close enough that I could still feel his breath against my mouth. I smiled because I could not help it. Still just sleeping? Leo's breath shook with a quiet laugh. Still just sleeping. Good. Good. Neither of us moved away. Eventually, we settled back under the blanket, his arm around me, my hand resting over his heart. "Are you comfortable?" he murmured. Physically, yes. His fingers brushed my sleeve. And emotionally? I closed my eyes. Emotionally, I may need legal representation. Leo laughed softly into the dark. That laugh settled something in me. Outside, the storm kept going. Inside, we stayed exactly where we were. Two boys in one bed, not rushing anything. But not pretending we did not want to either. I woke up holding Leo's hand, which was a dangerous way to start a day. For one soft, confusing second, I forgot where I was. Then the rain smell came back. The blue light outside the window. The warmth beside me. Leo was asleep on the other pillow. Blonde hair messy, mouth slightly open, looking unfairly peaceful for someone who had personally destroyed my ability to function. Our hands were still linked under the blanket. I did not move. Movement felt disrespectful. Also, if I moved, the moment might realize it was too perfect and disappear. Leo's eyes opened slowly. He blinked at me, then smiled. Morning. My brain searched for something romantic. Found nothing. Excellent. College material. His smile widened. You're staring. I looked at the ceiling immediately.
I'm studying architecture.
That's my ceiling. It has emotional depth. Leo laughed, low and sleepy, and squeezed my hand once before letting go. Downstairs, John was already making breakfast. Of course he was. The man had the energy of someone who could sense awkward teenage romance through floorboards and respond with pancakes. When Leo and I walked into the kitchen, both of us freshly changed but still looking like we had slept through a storm in the same room, John turned from the stove. His eyes moved from Leo's hair to my face, then to our hands, which were not touching, then back to the pancakes. Sleep okay? I choked on air. Leo coughed into his fist. John flipped a pancake like a man choosing peace. Coffee? The rest of the day unfolded gently. Blue Lantern needed help after the storm, so Leo and I wiped down porch chairs, picked up fallen branches, and rescued one very dramatic flower pot that had clearly seen battle. At some point, Leo handed me his hoodie. You're cold. I put it on and immediately regretted breathing. Smelled like mint gum, laundry, and him. This is mine now. Leo's eyebrows lifted. That was not the agreement. I pulled the sleeves over my hands. Emotionally, it transferred ownership. He looked at me for 2 full seconds, then smiled like he was trying not to. You're impossible, yet beloved. His ears went pink. Worth it. After lunch, we walked to the hidden beach. The sand was still damp, the sky washed clean after the storm, and the ocean looked sorry for its behavior yesterday. We found 3 blue shells. Leo placed the smallest one in my palm. For campus. I curled my fingers around it. How many emotional support objects am I allowed to bring to college? As many as required. My roommate is going to think I'm starting a shrine.
Leo's shoulder brushed mine.
Make it tasteful. At the lantern shop, Mrs. Bell spotted us holding hands before either of us remembered to be subtle. Her smile turned absolutely lethal. Well, I stared at the nearest shelf. Lovely weather. Leo squeezed my hand. Traitor. Later, Miles texted while Leo and I were drinking lemonade on the porch. How's blonde emotional medicine? Leo read it over my shoulder. His eyes narrowed playfully. Should I be jealous again? I leaned back in my chair. Only recreationally. He nodded, very serious. I can schedule that. I almost spit lemonade. That night, Mom video called. She demanded to meet the blonde emotional support dose. Leo tried to stay out of frame. I dragged him in. His wave was painfully polite. Hi, Mrs. Foster. Mom studied him for 2 seconds, then smiled. Oh, I understand now. From somewhere behind her, Dad called. Is that the guy who made our son smile at his phone like a haunted lamp? I put my face in my hands. Leo laughed so hard his shoulder shook against mine. Before bed, Leo gave me a small keychain shaped like a blue lantern. For when campus gets too loud. I held it longer than I meant to. The tiny lantern sat in my palm, cool and blue and completely unfair. Leo's voice softened. You don't have to come back every weekend. I know. His eyes dropped. I touched the charm with my thumb. But I'm probably going to want to. That night, I packed for college while Leo sat on the floor beside my suitcase, folding my shirts badly. I pretended not to notice, mostly because every time I looked at him, tomorrow felt closer. I hated it. I hated it so much that when he looked up at me, I stopped pretending. What? His hands went still. I sat on the edge of his bed, still wearing his hoodie. I don't want tonight to feel like waiting for goodbye. His face changed. Just enough. He stood up slowly. What do you want it to feel like? I could have made a joke. I almost did, but I was tired of hiding behind it. I stood too. The space between us disappeared until the hoodie brushed his shirt. Leo's breath caught. The sound went straight through me. I want tonight to feel like I'm here, I whispered. Not already leaving. Just here. With you. His eyes dropped to my mouth and stayed there. Daniel. My name sounded rough in his mouth. I know it's fast, I said. His hand lifted, then stopped an inch from my face. That small distance felt louder than anything. We don't have to do anything because you're leaving tomorrow. I know. I mean it, he said, voice lower. I don't want tomorrow deciding this for us. That should have made it easier. Didn't, because I wanted him, and I could feel that he wanted me too, in the way his jaw tightened, in the way his fingers curled like he was physically holding himself back. I don't want to rush, I admitted. Leo nodded once, careful. Then I grabbed his shirt and pulled him closer anyway. His eyes snapped back to mine. My voice shook. But I'm done pretending I don't want you. For 1 second, he didn't move. Then he kissed me. Started careful, like he was still giving me room to pull away. I didn't. I held on tighter. His breath broke against my mouth, and the kiss changed, deeper, hungrier. His hand found my waist and pulled me in before he seemed to realize what he was doing. A small sound escaped me. Leo froze, just for half a second. Then he kissed me again, slower this time, like he was trying to steady both of us. That almost made it worse. We ended up on the edge of the bed, close enough that my fingers were still twisted in his shirt and his breathing kept brushing warm against my cheek. Still okay? His voice was rough. I nodded. Very okay. He laughed once, but it broke in the middle. Then he kissed me again, hard enough to make me forget college, hard enough to make tomorrow disappear for a few seconds. And then he pulled back. Fast. Like it cost him something. His forehead dropped to my shoulder. His hands stayed on my waist, but they slowly loosened. Leo. I need a second, he said quietly, voice shaky. The words hit me harder than the kiss, because I knew he meant it, because stopping was actually hurting him. A part of me wanted to pull him back. Another part of me stayed still. I want you, I whispered. Leo lifted his head. His eyes were bright and dark at the same time. I want you too. The words landed between us, hot and unfinished. But not like this, he said. Not because tomorrow is making us feel like we have to. My throat tightened. I hate that you're right. His laugh came out breathless. I kind of hate it too. He kissed my forehead, then my cheek, then my mouth again. Slow, careful, like a promise instead of an apology. Later, we lay under the blanket. My head was on his shoulder, his arm around me. The room was dark except for the blue light from the lanterns outside. Neither of us spoke for a long time. Then Leo's fingers moved through my hair. You're quiet.
I'm emotionally uptaking.
He laughed softly. Should I be worried?
No.
I turned my face into his shoulder and breathed him in.
Mint.
Cotton. Summer. Something that already felt like home. I just don't want to forget this, I said. His arm tightened around me. You won't. I believed him. Tomorrow I would leave again. But tonight, I was here. In his bed, in his arms, close enough to hear his heart beating against mine. And even though we stopped, even though it still hurt a little, it didn't feel like we lost something. Felt like we chose to keep it. Morning came too gently, which felt unfair. After a night like that, I expected the universe to give me something dramatic. Rain on the windows, thunder over the ocean, a tragic violin. Maybe one seagull screaming my emotional state into the sky. Instead, sunlight rested on Leo's wall. His arm was still around me. For a few quiet seconds, I did not move. I just stayed there, tucked against his side, listening to his breathing and trying to convince my heart that this was real. Last night had not been goodbye. It had not been a mistake. It had been wanting something badly and stopping anyway. It had been Leo pulling back like it hurt, then holding me like leaving the space between us untouched still mattered. My face warmed just thinking about it. Then Leo stirred beside me. His fingers moved lightly against my shoulder, like he was checking that I was still there. Morning, he murmured, voice rough with sleep. I turned my face into his shirt. Don't start the day yet. His laugh brushed my hair. I don't think I control that. You control many emotionally dangerous things. Like what? I lifted my head and looked at him. Bad idea. He looked soft and sleepy and blonde in the morning light, and my entire future briefly forgot its college schedule. You, I muttered. In general. His smile came slowly. Then his eyes searched mine, more careful than teasing. Are you okay? I knew what he meant. Last night, the almost, the stopping, the part of me that had wanted more and the part of me that was grateful we had waited. I nodded. Yeah. His thumb moved once against my sleeve. Really? I swallowed, then smiled because if I did not, my feelings were going to climb out of my chest and embarrass everyone. Really? You didn't ruin anything. Leo's shoulders eased like he had been holding that worry all morning. Good. You actually made it worse. His eyes widened. I touched his shirt lightly. In a good way. A very annoying, emotionally responsible way. Leo laughed under his breath, then leaned in and kissed my forehead. Not hurried, not teasing, just warm enough to make leaving feel impossible. Downstairs, John was already making breakfast. Of course he was. The man could probably sense teenage heartbreak through floorboards and respond with pancakes. Leo and I got ready quietly, stealing glances like two people who had shared something bigger than they knew how to explain at 8 in the morning. When we walked into the kitchen, John looked at Leo's messy hair, then my red face, then the coffee pot. He chose mercy. "Eat first," he offered. "Emotional collapse goes better with bacon." I nearly dropped my fork. Leo coughed into his napkin. John turned back to the stove, shoulders shaking. Breakfast was too much. Pancakes, eggs, toast, fruit, coffee, and enough bacon to suggest John was trying to trap me at Blue Lantern through cholesterol. Leo barely touched his plate. He kept checking things. My water bottle, my phone charger, my campus paperwork, the weather, my GPS, my suitcase. Then I opened the suitcase and found his faded blue hoodie folded badly on top of my shirts. I lifted it slowly. "Did you pack your hoodie in my bag?" Leo looked at the counter.
No.
I held it up. His ears went red. Emotionally, yes. I hugged the hoodie against my chest. Theft accepted. His mouth softened. That almost ruined me. After breakfast, John walked me to the porch. The Blue Lantern swayed in the clean air after the storm, small and bright against the morning. He tucked his hands into his pockets and looked at the guest house, then at me. "You don't have to ask like you're a stranger anymore." My throat tightened. John squeezed my shoulder once, warm and steady. "You're always welcome here, Daniel. Not first guest. Not customer. Not quiet room boy. Welcome." That word followed me all the way to my car. Leo stood beside the driver's door, holding my keys. The Blue Lantern keychain hung from them, catching sunlight. He turned it once between his fingers. "About 40 minutes. I blinked. "What?" His smile was small but real. "That's how far Salem State is. Not another planet. Not another life. About 40 minutes. I laughed, but it came out soft. "You stole my speech. You were taking too long." I stepped closer. "I'm terrible at long-distance tragedy anyway." Leo touched the shell bracelet on my wrist. His thumb lingered there, gentle and nervous. For a second, the joke left both of us. His voice dropped. "Last night meant something to me." My chest went still, then loud. "It meant something to me too." His eyes searched mine. "I was scared stopping would make it weird," he admitted. "That hurt in the softest place." I shook my head. "It didn't."
No.
No, I took his hand because if I did not hold on to something, I was going to become a public safety issue. "It made me trust you more." Leo looked down at our fingers, then back at me, and suddenly everything I had been carrying since the beach, since the storm, since the first time he called me quiet room boy, felt too big to keep inside. "I know we're young," I began. His face went still. "I know college starts today. I know I'm probably going to call you crying over laundry and cafeteria food by Wednesday." His mouth twitched. "But I'm not leaving you behind." His fingers tightened around mine. "And I'm not saying this because I'm scared of leaving." My voice came out softer. "I'm saying it because last night and this place and you made it feel true." Leo barely breathed. "I love you." The words landed between us in the morning light. Not too fast. Not too much. Just finally honest. Leo stared at me like I had handed him something breakable and beautiful. Then he laughed once, shaky and breathless, and pulled me into a kiss. It was not like goodbye. It was not like the parking lot kiss from the first time, full of fear and leaving and things we had not named yet. This kiss was steady, certain, like a promise already learning how to keep itself. When he pulled back, he did not step away right away. His thumb brushed the shell bracelet on my wrist, like he was reminding both of us that this was not really goodbye.f. I love you too. Everything inside me went quiet, then warm, then completely, impossibly clear. I drove to Salem State with his hoodie in my suitcase, his shell around my wrist, and the blue lantern keychain swinging from my keys. When I parked outside my dorm, my phone buzzed. Leo had sent a photo of Blue Lantern's porch. My lantern was glowing in the morning sun. Under it, the same handwritten sign hung from the hook. Reserved for Daniel Foster. Then another message arrived. Quiet room status. Permanently yours. I looked at the dorm ahead of me, then at the road behind me. For the first time, college did not feel like it was pulling me away from everything I loved. It felt like my life had grown big enough to hold both. I typed back before I could overthink it. Boyfriend status. Permanently yours too. Leo replied instantly. Good. Come home this weekend. I laughed in my car, alone and not lonely at all, because I had a dorm waiting in front of me, a boy waiting by the sea, and a road between them I already knew by heart. And that weekend I drove it back to him.